Hey, what's up, friends? My name is Kara, and here is the Seattle to Portland Ride 2022 sponsored by Kaiser Permanente through my eyes. Before the ride, we spent a couple of days road tripping and exploring Oregon and Washington, and can I just say, wow, I am in love. We drove all the way up to Seattle through California and Oregon from Los Angeles, with, of course, stops along the way. Yes, the car ride was painful, but it was so fun. You just don't get the same vibes traveling by plane, you know? Our first stop was in Grants Pass, Oregon, where we spent the night. The next morning, we headed out to Crater Lake National Park before driving all the way up to Seattle, where we spent another night. From there, we drove up to Olympic National Park and spent a full day there. So if you're ever in the area, you've got to go. The vibes are immaculate. That was fun and all, but we were up the very next morning by 4 a.m. and at the starting line for the Seattle to Portland ride by 5:30 a.m. We were all exhausted to say the very least, but we were excited. And here we are just fixing up some last minute things that we've got to fix up. And we dramatically put on our shoes and helmets, filled our water bottles, and stuffed our pockets with lots and lots of snacks before we headed out for a full day of riding. We were set off in waves. It was around 6:30 a.m. by the time we had rolled past the starting line. It was a little hectic, but the energy at the start was absolutely electric. There was so much excitement and anticipation. The first couple of miles went smoothly as we rode out of the city. I was feeling pretty strong, but after about a week off the bike, my legs were a little slower to warm up. There was one climb somewhere here that completely wiped me out. I thought it was the worst of it, and boy was I wrong. And as we rode through the city, it was kind of funny to see so many people moving through the streets on bike. It's not something you see every day, and we looked like a flock of birds migrating to warmer weather. I met up with my mom, thank you mom, I love you, at around mile 20. It was at this moment that I realized maybe a one-day double century just wasn't in the stars. During training, the longest ride I had done was 70 miles on flat terrain. Yeah, not the smartest way to train. And here is one of those awful climbs in question. Look at how steep the hill is. I was shaking with anticipation before I even started to make my way up. You can't hear it in this video, but I was panting like my dog after a jump up a flight of stairs. I hate climbs, which is pretty ironic because I might be a little bit of a climber, I think. I have no idea what time it was here, but we made it to the first official rest stop at mile 52 just in time for lunch. And I have absolutely no idea what I was saying here, but it must have been something along the lines of, I'm so hungry and I'm so ready for a turkey sandwich. And the sandwich did, in fact, end up being the best turkey sandwich I've ever had. We also had police personnel at various points that helped make sure no rider got lost as we were traveling through different cities. Throughout the ride, there were both official and unofficial rest stops stationed along the route. At official rest stops, there were food and water stations as well as first aid to help riders along the way. After lunch, we headed through a military base where we rode for the next 30 or so miles. It was windy. The gusts were icy and attacked us from head on. If it weren't for the riders in front of us that helped pull us along, I'm not sure we would have made it out of that base alive in one piece. The guys were awesome and let us draft behind them, no questions asked. This was the last bit of footage I had on day one because my GoPro died and I didn't bring an extra battery, but we made it to Centralia, the halfway point, at around 1 p.m. that day. The next morning, I was feeling defeated. My legs were completely destroyed from the day before, but hey, I wasn't gonna quit there, so off we went, although a little later than planned. There were still a few waves of cyclists behind us, but nothing like it was yesterday. Things were much more calm today. We started off the day with a couple of rollers. Things were feeling much easier than they were during the same stretch yesterday. I was feeling a little more hopeful when we surpassed the first 20 miles without a hitch. Definitely easier than yesterday. I will say this though, the official rest stops today were far and few in between. A lot of the excitement from the day before looked like it had worn off. Mentally, it was starting to get hard. And here we are munching on some turkey croissant sandwiches, and in case you couldn't tell, I was having a fantastic time. Things didn't get easier though. Somewhere within the last 50 or so miles, we were redirected onto the freeway, which led us over the bridge that signaled our arrival into the beautiful state of Oregon. And let me tell you, I was ecstatic to. We then proceeded to bike along the highway for the next 10 or so miles. I won't lie, it was a little bit scary because we were all hugging the side of the road while cars zipped past us at 70 plus miles per hour. Personally, not one of my favorite memories from the ride. Everything from that point on was pretty much a blur, but I do remember that there was one last station at around mile 180 where I had the most delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I had snuck from lunch earlier that day. And then after that, we continued until we reached another bridge that led us straight into the city of Portland, Oregon. I was struggling really badly here. So at this point, I was really just trying to hang on, keep my head down, and keep those legs spinning as we made our way over the bridge. For the next 6 or so miles, the longest 6 miles of my life, we rode through the city of Portland until we arrived at our final destination. And here we are at the finish after 206 miles. Nothing has ever tasted sweeter. So yeah, that was the Seattle to Portland Ride 2022 sponsored by Kaiser Permanente through my eyes. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!